All right, so with the Golden Globes here this morning, I wanted to follow up here because we also had the Critics' Choice nominations come out today, and I was like, well, I was gonna get to it either tomorrow or day after or something because I don't know, the rest of the week could go a lot of different ways. I'm not sure for me schedule wise, so I had some time, so I'm like, yeah, let's go ahead and get into the nominees here at the Critics' Choice. And then I did get a quick chance to go over my Oscar predictions as well. And, it might be a little premature to kind of switch things around just based off of how two shows, have parsed out their nominations. And, of course, one of them, we don't know really much about the Globes right now as far as what impact it'll have and stuff like that. If any, because at this point I didn't say anything today about anybody saying, "Oh, thanks Golden Globes for nominating me." It's like, yeah, we weren't expecting that. We weren't expecting that, but yeah. And then on the other side we have Critics' Choice. So we'll go ahead and just run down the nominees here, and then we will talk about one thing I always try to do is right after the nominations out say, okay, who's ahead? And I didn't do that with the Globes, so we might circle back and do that on the Globe side here. So, we'll start though with Critics' Choice and kind of go through everything there, and then we'll go through quickly through the Globes there. Right now, what are they possibly thinking? Who could win? All that stuff. And then we'll look at the updated Oscar predictions, or at least initial thoughts on how things could go. I did move some things around, but but there's always a lot of stuff that can happen. I mean, this is just two of the early precursors we look to. We've still got the Screen Actors Guild. We've still got BAFTA. Still got quite a few critics groups to sound off. We've still got quite a ways to go here before we really line up the final Oscar predictions and stuff. So anyways, let's go ahead and get started here with the 10 films that are in for Best Picture here at the Critics' Choice. Those 10 are Belfast, Coda, Don't Look Up, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, Tick Tick Boom, and West Side Story. So, really just looking at this list here, other than maybe Don't Look Up, the other 9 I'm looking at and I'm saying right now they have a lot going for them for Best Picture nominations. Belfast and Dune and a lot of these I've had maybe not since the very beginning, but definitely early on in the season. I tuned into them and stuff. Belfast, I think I did. I put that in. I think it was before it won at the Toronto Film Festival for the Audience Award. I think I put it in before then, but and even then, Don't Look Up, which did also get the comedy comedy musical picture nomination of the Globes. That was in a relatively weaker field. If it had been, for whatever reason, a drama, I think it might have, with the reviews and everything, something tells me it would have struggled a little more. But yeah, then again, you look at its performance here today here at Critics' Choice, and, this is almost strictly critics voting, or it should be at least. And you see, it's in for Screenplay still. It gets an acting nomination for Ensemble. So it's not like it, settled for a Best Picture nomination or anything. And you look at it, too, it's also got a score nomination and a song nomination. So even the music group, I would say music group, but this is, the critics who are looking at it, the music even put it in over a lot of other films. So when we get to Best Picture, how I've changed things or whatever, that's one thing I'm considering at least, to maybe bump that one up or down from where it was. It's definitely up from where it was, by the way. It's I still don't have it in for Best Picture right now, but that's just because I'm just not really sure what to do with it. Because again, sometimes we do see these films struggle. Films like this, arguably, to some extent, even though the critical praise on it was a lot better last year, and that was Spike Lee's *Da 5 Bloods*. That one, got, what was it? Completely skunked, kind of like Nightmare Alley did earlier today, at the Globes, and then, was kind of all over the roadmap from there. It got one nomination at BAFTA. It got tons of support from SAG. But then when it got time for the Oscars, boom, they just give it the one nomination for score. And that was in one place. we knew was possible, but it wasn't, a clear bet for nomination there. And that one, even that one, I think on Rotten Tomatoes was what, upper 80s or something like that. Like it was, or 92. This one says, without looking up the most recent one or whatever. So yeah, that's an example from last year where it's like, okay, just because it did well at Critics' Choice doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna, cross over everywhere. And sure, like I said, Don't Look Up did do pretty well at this morning at the Globes, but again, that's mostly it's benefiting from that comedy musical category there, with the exception of Screenplay, where it did get in over quite a few other contenders that I was looking at for sure to get in before it. But yeah. Otherwise, Coda showing up here on the same day it shows up as kind of a moderate surprise there at the Globes for drama film. That's a good sign that it is, at least early on here, it's sticking around, because it kind of came out in August, and the buzz really softened on it, and now it feels like it's starting to go, kind of back up again. I think it would be, a more obvious bet if it was, say, landing a director nomination or consistent in the screenplay category. It did get in for adapted screenplay here, and I think at the Oscars it's been a safe bet for screenplay, regardless of picture, because that category has a few more holes in it there. But still, as it stands now, it looks like it's a pretty solid bet for at least one acting nomination and for screenplay. So yeah, that's usually the bare minimum you need for picture. Usually. The Post is probably the most recent one to get a picture nomination and not have, much else. It had actress from Meryl Streep, and that was it. So yeah, and obviously, what we're doing this year with the Oscars is it's a solid 10 regardless. So yeah, we might end up in the next couple of years, unless they change the rule again, we might see more films like The Post or The Blind Side just get an acting nomination and a picture nomination. So that might be the case, though, with Tick, Tick, Boom, which is one I was looking at. And that's kind of why I was reluctant early on to put it in for picture. Just because I'm like, well, other than maybe Andrew Garfield, and even then I think he's definitely been rising here in the last couple weeks. And now with nominations at the Globes and here at Critics' Choice today, it's not looking bad for him. Yeah, I think he can definitely, if he gets the Screen Actors Guild nomination, which it is a Netflix film, so it's a pretty safe bet at this point he'll get in. And yeah, being British definitely helps him, so at BAFTA. So as long as he's on the list there, short list, then I would say he can probably just run the table and get that nomination at the Oscars, a second one here in the last maybe 6 years, 5 years, whatever. But yeah, he's looking a lot more solid, for sure. So what else here in picture? Obviously, the other thing to talk about here is Nightmare Alley did much better. Excuse me, here at Critics' Choice versus at the Globes this morning. They just did not like the movie. I think that's just the simplest explanation. They just did not go for it at all. And they've liked some of his films in the past. Obviously, like we said, Shape of Water was, I believe, the leading contender in 2017 with most nominations there at the Globes. So, oh well. Let's see. Otherwise, is there any other film here that did not make it in for picture at the Globes that did here? The answer is no. Everything that could have gotten in, is here, really. Anyways, so I think that's about it for that one. For director, your 6 nominees here are Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza, Kenneth Branagh for Belfast, Jane Campion for Power of the Dog, Guillermo del Toro for Nightmare Alley, Steven Spielberg for West Side Story, and Denis Villeneuve for Dune. So I think potentially other than PTA and Spielberg, I still have the other 4 in, and it's really just going to be that 5th slot, whether it's going to be something, maybe like possibly Maggie Gyllenhaal if Lost Daughter can hang on, or is it maybe PTA gets his next nomination there in director? It'd only be his 3rd if I'm recalling correctly, or Spielberg, who got what was it? I counted this morning. It was 14. It was a teen number in there for the Globes here. This morning. It was I want to say his 14th nomination here this morning, or 15th. It's in that mid to upper teens of number of nominations there at the Globes. But remember, they'll put him in for The Post. They'll put him in for Amistad and a few other films that don't always carry over to the Oscars. Even Color Purple nominated him, which almost everybody did that year, and the Oscars just, for whatever reason, left him off for that one. But yeah. So I don't know if he's necessarily now like a sure thing in director, because, we felt that way in the past, there's certain films that have come up where it's like, oh, it feels like he's really solid there, and then the film kind of does okay, like Bridge of Spies or War Horse or even The Post, they come in and it's like, oh, okay, maybe some members of the Academy still liked it, but not enough to get him in the director's branch. So, and yeah, I was thinking about it too, because I was like, wow, he could become, and I was thinking about it because I'm like, what other director in 6 straight decades has been consistently nominated at the Oscars at least one time each decade? And I was like, God, I can't even think about that. Because Spielberg, obviously in the 70s, he had, for director nominations, he had Close Encounters. In the 80s, he had a couple between E.T. and Raiders. And then in the 90s, he had, Schindler's List and Saving Private Ryan. In the aughts, 2000s, he had Munich. And then in 2010, he had, in the 2010s, in 2012 in particular, Lincoln. So this would be, yeah, and he's got another shot, obviously, supposedly next year, if it stays on schedule, with, what was the name of it here? Fabelmans. Which, yeah, that's his kind of self autobiographical kind of, or semi-autobiographical tale there. And yeah, I gotta say, that one, just from how it sounds early and the cast that's in it and everything, I'm like, oh, that sounds incredible. I'm like, yeah, that's gonna be one of my most anticipated of next year. But West Side Story was one of my most anticipated of this year too, though. So yeah, so I'm not going to say, okay, I'm certain set on this one yet, but yeah. And as far as the box office and stuff on it, because it obviously came in pretty low this weekend. It was like, I think the updated numbers I saw this afternoon were 10.6 million, or maybe that's even rounded up a little bit. Let me just see the actual. Did it break 10.6? No, it did not. It was closer to 10.57, because early on it was like 10.4 or something. So it did go up just a little bit there. From what the early projections were Sunday morning. But, and I kind of talked about that a lot over the past month here, and that's these adult dramas, or like films that are more tended toward the older crowd, the arguably 40 and up crowd. Those are the ones that are going to be slow going back to the theaters, and especially with like Omicron and, some other, COVID scares going on. Yeah, it's going to be a tough get for that one to break 100 million at the domestic box office anytime soon. Can it be done? Possibly. I mean, it really just depends on how good the word of mouth is, which right now it sounds like it's really good word of mouth. But it's also about getting people to go back to the theater and see it. So, yeah, and I think, regardless of how the box office does, it's clearly West Side Story has its fans right now, with like Critics' Choice doing very, very well here. And, a pretty good showing there at the Globes as well. And, yeah, I don't really see it totally sputtering out of control at, like, SAG or anything. I think it'll get at least one nomination there, potentially for Ensemble. It's got a shot maybe for supporting actress. It's got a couple viable contenders there. Actress might be a little tougher, but I'd say Zegler's still in the hunt there for Best Actress at SAG. But, yeah, I think it'll do well there. PGA looks like a pretty sure bet. DGA, possibly. I can see Spielberg being, getting into DGA and then missing at the Oscars, because there's almost always one that does not carry over. So, I can definitely see that. So, yeah, I don't think it's really going to struggle way too much going forward just because of box office. And like we said, there's definitely a way that this can, march on and continue to do well over the next coming weeks. All right. So really quick, we just mentioned Maggie Gyllenhaal was the only one from the Globes here this morning that did not carry over to the Critics' Choice. And yeah, even then, I think that was just a case of them liking that movie maybe even more so than the Critics' Choice did. And it's not like, and it did get nominations for actress and for adapted screenplay, so it's not totally out to lunch or anything. It's not like one group liked it, another group didn't like it. Like, Nocturnal Animals is another one like that. Potentially Don't Look Up or Nightmare Alley, or, some of these that could potentially be in a little bit of trouble here, like that. Those are examples that we could look to there. Okay, going into the acting categories now. For Best Actor, nominees are Nicolas Cage for Pig. Definitely the biggest surprise of the acting nominees here today, other than maybe one or two when we get to supporting, but it's probably more supporting actor. And even that was one, yeah, we can talk about it when we get there. Benedict Cumberbatch for Power of the Dog, Peter Dinklage for Cyrano, Andrew Garfield for Tick, Tick, Boom, Will Smith for King Richard, and Denzel Washington for Tragedy of Macbeth. And I really have to say, other than Nicolas Cage, this does feel like all five of these guys got in this morning at the Globes in their respective categories, so that could be your five. That could very easily just be Cumberbatch, Dinklage, Garfield, Smith, Washington. It could easily be those five. That doesn't mean it's over for Nicolas Cage or Mahershala Ali or some of the other contenders there. It just means, yeah, that other than maybe Dinklage, who I think will get in at SAG, but possibly at BAFTA if that one doesn't open in time or he's not shortlisted or something. Other than that, I really don't see any of these guys struggling way too much. Denzel possibly if Tragedy of Macbeth is just not viewed very well by the Academy, like it doesn't, because right now it does seem like it's getting lower and lower in the streamers pile, if you will, or the, because you have to remember too, when the Academy voters, when they get to these films, some of them get to them kind of later, like maybe in the last 2, 3, 4 weeks before voting ends. They go through a whole bunch of of films there at the end. So Tragedy of Macbeth, if it's not very high on the list, because just enough people haven't seen it, or if they haven't heard enough good things about it, or they hear it's just another Shakespeare thing, they'll put it kind of lower, and they might not even get to it. So that being said, Denzel is one that almost always comes through when he's got a very viable nomination. Like what's the one? I didn't see it, but the lawyer one he did here a few years ago. Other than no, I was going to say I think that was his last acting nomination before. No, it was his last acting. It was After Fences, the other one. Whatever. Even that one I kind of wrote off for a while because the critics were all over the place on it, and he was not everywhere in the season and stuff, but he still came through. So, so even then, it's like, okay, that doesn't necessarily mean Denzel becomes a weak link here, but maybe he's not, I have him in second, but I'm like, maybe he's closer to third. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, good for Nick. I haven't seen Pig, but good for Nicolas Cage getting in there. This is his first, kind of major nomination like this in a while. So glad to see the critics are on board for that one. Okay, Best Actress, you've got Jessica Chastain for Eyes of Tammy Faye, Olivia Colman for The Lost Daughter, Lady Gaga for House of Gucci, Elena Haim for Licorice Pizza, Nicole Kidman for Being the Ricardos, and Kristen Stewart for Spencer. So, yeah, this is going to be a really interesting thing here because Frances McDormand is nowhere to be seen here in this Best Actress group, either this morning at Globes or here later in the morning at Critics' Choice. So again, I don't know how much of that is just them not having seen the film or not liking the film as much, but wow, that's on paper and stuff, that sounded like a sure bet, but now that's starting to become like a whoa, the film really has to overperform for that one to even happen now. Let's see, yeah, so Elena Haim, maybe we'll see her come through and get a nomination here, possibly. I would say almost for certain she has to land a SAG nomination. Which might be a little tougher. I mean, it was out in late November, started screening in mid-November, so it wasn't like a super late hitter. So that's not one strike against her or anything. But I'm like, I'm just thinking. I'm like, I don't know, because normally, like we've said over the years, SAG tends to like stuff that's out earlier or screens early enough to where enough people have seen it. Historically, The Post and some of those other ones have really struggled because of their late release and stuff. Which might be a problem for Being the Ricardos at SAG. So I can see Nicole Kidman missing there. But on the other hand, with her particularly, remember Bombshell, that whole race, that whole year in supporting actress, we were all just saying Margot Robbie. And then she showed up at SAG. And then it's like, and they both got in. So it's like, is it a double? And right away some people were convinced, yeah, she's going to get in, going forward, but it didn't happen. So yeah, that's going to be a question mark. Plus, I haven't seen the film yet or anything, so we'll see how the performance is, too. If the performance is just super powerhouse, one of her best since, insert film here, whatever one you want to go back to. I still really liked her in Lion, even though I wasn't as big a fan of that film. Her performance, no quips with it. It was fantastic. So, I probably should have had her in this morning at the Globes, but anyways. Then Lady Gaga pulls both, but that's probably should not be as big a surprise because Gaga still did, she got the acting nomination, actually tied with Glenn Close for Best Actress that year. So the critics do kind of like her. So it's not like they just had an open slot there, because it's like, yeah, you got plenty that they could have gone with, from Penelope Cruz to Rachel Zegler to Frances McDormand, possibly Jennifer Hudson, Emilia Jones, Halle Berry, or Tessa Thompson, since Passing got a nomination there for Ruth Negga this morning at the Globes. So there's quite a few possibilities still alive there in Best Actress. But yeah, speaking of which, so now Respect, having missed those two, do we pull Jennifer Hudson from SAG? That's a big question mark. And I'm really debating that, because I'm like, okay, well, who, and I don't have Nicole Kidman in right now at SAG, but I believe I have Stewart, I have Coleman, and I have Chastain, and I'm going to, because it's been a minute here, I'm going to look and see who else I have in at SAG right now. Because that's we've got a little bit of time left for SAG, so I haven't gone over everything quite yet with that one. So I have those three. I still had Frances and Jennifer in there last time, so yeah, I'm gonna have to look at who else I want to put in there. Anyhow, but yeah, like I said, this Best Actress field is looking pretty strong right now. Like, there's a lot of actresses that are still viable here, and like I said, even if they're not in this morning in either one, like Frances, like Penelope Cruz, like Jennifer Hudson, that doesn't mean they're shut out. I mean, it makes it a little tougher. They can't really miss way too much going forward, or their film has to really, have some strong coattails, which we'll get into in a minute here. But yeah, we'll have to just wait it out on that one. With SAG is going to be really beneficial there, and then whoever's on the short list for BAFTA, because especially if somebody like Frances is left off the short list of BAFTA, and she misses SAG, yeah, then I think she's probably done at that point. And we'll get to BAFTA when the time comes. Okay, moving on to the supporting categories for acting. Supporting actor, your 6 nominees here are Jamie Dornan for Belfast, Ciarán Hinds for Belfast, Troy Kotsur or Kutsur, I'm going to hear, again, 5 pronunciations for that one through the year before I get it right, for Coda, Jared Leto for House of Gucci, J.K. Simmons for Being the Ricardos, and Cody Smith-McPhee for Power of the Dog. So, J.K. Simmons, good on him for getting the nomination, and I know here in the last few weeks, a few people were talking about him right when the film started to screen, so evidently he's got at least a couple of good scenes in there. But wow, this race is not going the way I thought it would. Well, first of all, I did not have both the guys in there for Belfast. I thought at least one of them would make it. I was arguing, I'm like, okay, Jamie Dornan is so good in the movie, I would love to see him get in, and he's gotten in both. So yeah, again, we'll go into it when I get into my change predictions here and stuff, or at least early on what I'm thinking. Jared Leto is still in there, so yeah, if he had missed here at Critics' Choice, then I'm like, ooh, we're just relying on SAG for him. Unless he wins at SAG, I'm like, that makes it a little more difficult for him to get the win at the Oscars too. But at least getting nominated here is good. And I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, last year for The Little Things, I don't believe that he got the Critics' Choice. I believe it was just the Globes nomination for Little Things, if I'm remembering right. Yeah, he missed Critics' Choice last year. It was SAG and Globes only, I believe, for him. Anyways, so then otherwise, Cody Smith-McPhee is coming through for Power of the Dog. I know some people, like I was like, again, I'm not on board with that as far as just it being like an obvious thing. I don't see it as an obvious thing, but clearly the voters think otherwise. Clearly the Jesse Plemons thing does not look very likely right now. If anything, I was thinking, him and Cody Smith-McPhee would be the double nominees here in this category, but it's looking a little more obvious it's going to be the 2 guys from Belfast. Otherwise, Bradley Cooper has really struggled here so far. Richard Jenkins has completely struggled here. Even some outside contenders like Corey Hawkins and John Bernthal for their respective films. Bernthal for King Richard. Some people have named him off, but I haven't really paid way too much attention to that one. Yeah, they're both completely MIA from these, and it just really seems like this category is going to flip on its head here. I know, like I said, Smith McPhee is kind of your leader right now according to a few sites here, but I'm still really scratching my head over that one because he's fine in the movie, but to win this, oh, come on, give it to Kieran Hines. Seriously, in comparison here, and I haven't seen any of the other three. So I haven't seen Simmons, I haven't seen Leto, I haven't seen Kutzer, and I haven't seen obviously Ben Affleck, to make that joke, from the Globes this morning. I haven't seen Tender Bar yet, so minus those. I'm really shaking my head like this should be obvious, when you compare the two. But anyways. Okay, let's move on to the nominees for supporting actress. And I liked how it was consistent here. 6 acting nominees each category, 6 director nominations each category. So I'm liking it so far. Usually the Critics' Choice are a little more helter-skelter than this. Let's see, for supporting actress, he had Catriona Balfe for Belfast, Ariana DeBose for West Side Story, Ann Dowd for Mass, Kirsten Dunst for Power of the Dog, Ajon Ellis for King Richard, and Rita Moreno in for West Side Story. So, and I was, recently I've been thinking about, I'm like, maybe Rita Moreno does stand a little bit more of a chance here for supporting actress, just because it's one of those things where, okay, she won 60 years ago, this was her film, it's not the same role, obviously, but it's, a new role that I believe they did come up with in the film, if I'm remembering correctly. And plus it's, a thing where it's like, okay, it's, could be one of her last shots at a nomination. She's a Hollywood legend. Her name is stuck around through the years, even though she hasn't done, you can't name off other than maybe 1 or 2 other projects she's done that have really, been mainstream hits or, are films or performances that people remember. So, this almost does kind of feel like, okay, maybe just, to get the nomination at least, maybe she's the 5th slot there in favor of somebody like Ann Dowd or possibly Marlee Matlin or some of these other ones here. But clearly Balfe and Dunst and Ellis look really good right now. Ariana DeBose is right back in the hunt now with the 2 nominations here today. And Ruth Negga is viable for sure for passing for her nomination at the Globes here. And Ann Dowd, I think if she had missed here at Critics' Choice, then we probably would have dumped her, in all honesty. But she's kind of looking like one of those possible situations like Timothée Chalamet here a few years ago for Beautiful Boy, where it's like, okay, it just has to be seen by enough people to get in and stuff. So we'll see. I think it will right now. I think we're not going to see that play out. I think she will get in. But it's going to be tough. And one argument, though, that I will make, possibly here, since Marlee Matlin has not shown up yet, is, remember, she is a past Oscar winner, and she's, a name that people have remembered and stuff. Like with Rita Moreno, where it's like, okay, she's had a couple other roles where people might recognize her, but, the one everybody remembers her for is Children of a Lesser God and everything, her Oscar-winning role. So when it comes time, now people are like looking at this film Coda, which is doing, pretty well here early. They're like, oh, okay, there's Marlee Matlin. So maybe she gets a coattail nomination, and both she and Troy get in, both of them. So I'm really considering that as well. So it's going to be close. We could definitely see Ariana DeBose, unfortunately, be expendable for that. Rita Moreno could be expendable for that. And Ann Dowd could be expendable for that if Marlee gets in. So, so that it's going to be a little tougher to nail that one down to 5. It's going to be a little tougher there. Okay, in the screenplay categories, starting with original screenplay, 5 nominees here, and there's 5 in adapted. So again, I like it there, but I like that they're the same. But it's like, why was there only 5 here when you had 6 up here? That doesn't really okay. Original screenplay, your nominees are Licorice Pizza, King Richard, Belfast, Don't Look Up, and Being the Ricardos. which could be the lineup. I can see Belfast for sure, King Richard for sure, Licorice Pizza for sure. It's just those other two I'm a little shaky on. Being the Ricardos, I think. Again, Sorkin, historically here at the Oscars, I'm not going to just automatically put him in just because he got a couple early bids here. It depends on how competitive the category is and how well the movie is doing overall with the Academy. If it's going to end up being a little bit of a disappointment, then it tends to, not turn out well for Sorkin. If it's, either less full field or it's a case where the film is really well liked, then he gets in. So, let's not draw too many conclusions yet. On the adapted side, your nominees are Power of the Dog, The Lost Daughter, Coda, West Side Story, and Dune. So, that's kind of surprising for me. This is the one category here this morning's nominations from Critics' Choice where I'm like, wow, some of these do not make sense. Like, seriously, Nightmare Alley script, having not seen it, that one you don't like as much as a couple of the others. Tragedy of Macbeth you don't like as much as the others. Tick, Tick, Boom you couldn't put in here for adapted screenplay. Instead you're going Dune? Yeah, okay, I don't know. Which Dune, and that's nothing against the script. The script is fine. And there's plenty of memorable lines. Like, I off the top of my head, I can remember all the Baron stuff. His was just such a cool character. And just, real quick on that one, I just, as time has gone on here, I'm like, I just love how they didn't explain anything with him. It's just, here he is, he's creepy, he's weird, here's all his stuff. Have fun. It's like, it made me go out to see the original film's, a clip or two of the Baron in that film. I'm like, oh, whoa. Yeah, look up if you're not like me, if you're a virgin to the original Dune from David Lynch, look up those clips. Yeah, you'll see there's a night and day difference. Anyways, but yeah, I can just remember like the Baron in this one. He's like, "When is a gift not a gift? The Atreides' voice is rising, and the Emperor is a jealous man, a dangerous, jealous man." Stuff like that, or of course the now famous scene where he does the rise. I guess we can give this away. He reveals how he can stand 10 feet tall or whatever. He's like, "My desert, my Iraqis, my Dune." Yeah, cool stuff. So I remember that stuff. And yeah, there's definitely some memorable lines in the movie. So yeah, it's nothing against the movie. But in all honesty, I would, just on the surface, some of these other ones look a little more obvious. So again, once I've seen everything, okay, then I can go back and say, nah, Dune should be in there. Or maybe it shouldn't. So we'll find out. And yeah, the West Side Story one too, I was a little... Early on, I was holding on to it for a while, and then I finally dropped it. But yeah, we'll see. Yeah, and I don't think this is, getting back to the box office stuff with West Side Story. Adapted screenplay, I don't really see that as a spot where just because it doesn't maybe not live up to expectations of the box office, I don't see that as a reason to drop it from that category, for example. But because it is Tony Kushner, So, I don't know. The writer's branch kind of like who they like in that one, so we'll see. Okay, then we'll move on to the acting ensemble category. This one I include. There's a few categories here I'm not going to include when we get to them, like younger actor, younger actress, skip that one. Comedy film, skip that one. Really, those are the only two I think I skip on this one. So when I go over the vote totals for like how many nominations you had and stuff here, I do not count those two categories. So if my number is lower or higher, whatever, it should be just lower, then some of the other ones you'll read, that's why. I don't count those categories because nothing against them, but these don't carry over to other categories in any other award show, and yeah, basically that's it. It's just, yeah. It doesn't, help or hurt the movie, really, in all honesty. I mean, if anything, if it really comes down to, like, maybe this, one particular actor who was viable here ends up getting nomination in the young actor, young actress category, okay, maybe then that's about the only time it would come into play. But most of the time, those are the ones who don't traditionally get in. Anyways, so 6 nominees here for acting ensemble. They are Belfast, Don't Look Up, The Harder They Fall, Licorice Pizza, Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. Okay, I haven't made the change yet, but I'm for sure putting Harder They Fall into the acting ensemble category or best ensemble at SAG. I'm putting it in. I don't care if I get it wrong. I'm putting it in. That just feels like something that they're going to go for. So I have that one in. I am not going to put Don't Look Up in. So if Netflix gets 2, I think it would be that one and Power of the Dog. I don't necessarily see it being Power of the Dog, Don't Look Up, and Harder They Fall. I don't see them getting 3 out of the 5. And I don't see, if it's going to be just 2, I don't see it being just Don't Look Up and Harder They Fall. I don't see that scenario. Now, it could end up being just Power of the Dog and Don't Look Up, or just Power of the Dog. I really don't see that one missing ensemble and they just go Don't Look Up, or they just go Harder They Fall. I think we've played out every scenario, haven't we? but still, no. I feel confident in that one. I feel like they're going to go for it at SAG. So okay, because number one, it's a very maybe is it straight up just Black or African American cast? Almost. I mean, just looking at the names here and stuff, I'm like, yeah, I don't, none of these stick out as a white person or whatever, or, whatever, any other race or whatever. So I'm like, okay, that's a plus, and it's Netflix, and SAG loves their Netflix. So I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a good enough reasoning for me. So yeah, even though, again, I see that one, other than maybe some music categories, not doing extremely well through the rest of the season, I think SAG will go for it. Because, again, they're not afraid to put in a couple of nominees who won't show up anywhere else or struggle the rest of the time. Anyways, so, I guess in this category, I mean, if anything, Coda is also a viable option here that they could have gone with. Let's see, Dune has a pretty stacked cast, so that one I could see an argument for. And King Richard, I think, I still have that one in for ensemble. I think that one will make it still. Licorice Pizza's in there. I was going to say that one if not, but yeah. And then, Nightmare Alley has also got a really stacked cast, but again, this one, with the Globe's performance this morning, or lack thereof, plus, I mean, it's not really, other than the acting categories, it's not really missing way too much here at Critics' Choice, other than possibly screenplay. And again, when we get a little further along in the season, and after we've all seen it, maybe we'll see there's a reason why they didn't put it in for screenplay. But anyways, so I don't know. That generally feels like that's a pretty good one. And as far as Don't Look Up, as far as the critics and stuff, it's a big enough cast. Yeah, sometimes they'll just go for the big cast, regardless of reviews and stuff. Okay, real quick, let's go down the tech categories. Cinematography, 6 nominees here. Tragedy of Macbeth, Dune, West Side Story, Nightmare Alley, Power of the Dog, and Belfast. Arguably, that's the 6 it comes down to at the Oscars. God, and it's really tough looking at that list right now. Which one does not make it? God damn, that's tough. I mean, I hate to say it because I did really like the cinematography, but Power of the Dog, maybe. Because Kaminsky, almost always when there's a sure bet Spielberg one, he gets in. Almost always. Dune feels like a lock. Tragedy of Macbeth, even if it's not doing well in some of the top categories, it's consistently at a lot of these award shows, if there's a cinematography category, it's winning or it's being noticed. So that one feels pretty safe. Nightmare Alley seems like a pretty safe bet as well. That's Dan Lautzen, who I believe was the cinematographer also on Shape of Water, if I'm remembering right. Yep. And that was Dan's first nomination. And Belfast, also black and white, and just really good cinematography in that one. So, that's going to be a tough one to whittle down to 6. And even then, you've got some outside contenders in that category, like The Hand of God. I can see sneaking in there. Because sometimes those, international films with cinematography, sometimes they get in there. Spencer was one some people had early on. Licorice Pizza, maybe. Cyrano, maybe. Even something like No Time to Die, I would say, maybe still has a little bit of an outside chance there. So that might be a tough one this year. Editing is also looking to be a pretty tough one. Your 5 here, just 5, are West Side Story, Belfast, Licorice Pizza, The Power of the Dog, and Dune, which feels pretty good right now. Maybe Licorice Pizza might struggle a little bit there. I think, did we look through that the other time, didn't we? I don't know. King Richard, I think still stands a shot at getting in there. I have that one in. I think it's Hank Corwin is the editor as well on Don't Look Up, and he's been with Vice and with Big Short. He's gotten in both times, so I can see that one also getting in if the Academy goes for it enough. Let's see here. Nightmare Alley, I think, still has a good shot there. Even Tick Tick Boom, some people really liked its editing there. So, yeah, that one also could be a little tough to whittle down to 5. Costume design, the 5 here are Cruella, Dune, Nightmare Alley, West Side Story, and House of Gucci, which I believe are the 5 I have in at the Oscars right now, unless I don't have... I had... Wait, did I say Spencer? Did Spencer miss? Yeah, Spencer I have in. Which, yeah, West Side Story, again, early on I felt like it's like, if it's not in there, it's like number 6 in all these tech categories. So that one I might change my mind on. Let's see, production design, the 5 here are Belfast, The French Dispatch, West Side Story, Nightmare Alley, and Dune. I don't think I have Belfast in right now for production design, do I? I do not. No. I had Tragedy of Macbeth in there still. I don't know, Belfast, if Roma can do it for its production design, then I don't really see why Belfast can't. I mean, it's not really, like Roma, it's not always in your face, but it's like it's a part of the movie and stuff. So, I'm going to consider that one a lot more so. Otherwise, the other 4 I've had in virtually since the start. So, yeah, the other 4 feel safe. So, Cyrano and Spencer, Power of the Dog are ones I would say pretty good shots. Even Licorice Pizza has a somewhat of a shot there too. Okay, we'll go to hair and makeup next, which are Cruella, Dune, The Eyes of Tammy Faye, House of Gucci, and Nightmare Alley. None of these are total shockers here. I think these are the 5 I have, except for King Richard. I have that one in over Eyes of Tammy Faye, I believe. Yeah. Otherwise, I have. I had Spencer in there too, instead of Cruella. Okay. So I had 3 of the 5 here, and that's for my current predictions. The one, especially for Eyes of Tammy Faye, that one is a little more obvious. Cruella, haven't not seen it. Yeah, it looked like there was some stuff going on there with makeup for that one. But otherwise the other 3 I think are pretty solid bets. For the music categories, original score, you have Don't Look Up, The Power of the Dog, Spencer, Nightmare Alley, and Dune. And that's Power of the Dog and Spencer are both from Johnny Greenwood, so that's, I don't usually think this score category here at Critics' Choice does a ton of double nominations. I can look through here really quick, because usually John Williams only gets in for 1. See. Yeah, even the year of Imitation Game and Grand Budapest Hotel, Desplat just got the 1 nomination for Imitation Game. Yeah, they really do not like to do multiple composers in the same year. No, I believe this might be the first time it's happened, actually. So, unless there was one last year. Well, technically, Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross, yeah, they both had Soul and Mank out last year. So that one was 2 of the 3 for Soul crossed over on another project. So, okay, technically that one. But, it's not very common when I look through the rest from there. It's maybe the second time it's happened, unless I missed one there. But yeah, otherwise, I didn't have Don't Look Up in for score yet. I have it on the list as a potential one. This is one, Harder They Fall wasn't on there for score. So I'm like, ooh, okay. Let's see, otherwise, French Dispatch got into the Globes this morning for its score, but didn't get in here. Nightmare Alley, even though it's not Desplat, they Nathan Johnson came on kind of toward the end of the either post-production or somewhere in there. Came on kind of late. But, it seems like, the score is not a problem with that one. And, the other 2, Power of the Dog and Dune, I think are more obvious bets there. And we'll see about Spencer. Okay, then for song, the 5 are Be Alive from King Richard, Dos Oruguitas from Encanto, Guns Go Bang from Harder They Fall, Just Look Up from Don't Look Up, and No Time to Die from No Time to Die. So I think relatively... these are the 5 I had actually at the Oscars right now. So that's kind of a surprise. Otherwise, Here I Am, Singing My Way to Home from Respect got into the Globes this morning, and Down to Joy got into the Globes this morning over Just Look Up and over Guns Go Bang. The other three were at the Globes this morning. So, yeah, seems like, I don't know, I won't say for sure, because there's always like one song that nobody thinks of that gets in there first for that branch. So, yeah, we'll see. Okay, then that just leaves the animated category, foreign language film, and visual effects. Let's do animated first. Encanto, Flea, Luca, The Mitchells vs. the Machines, and Raya and the Last Dragon. Once again, 3 Disney or Pixar projects. I'm not doing that at the Oscars. Screw it. I'm not falling for that trap. So, okay. Then your foreign language films, quite a few of these crossover from Globes this morning. A Hero from Iran, Drive My Car from Japan, Flea from Denmark, The Hand of God from Italy, and The Worst Person in the World from Norway. Which, Worst Person in the World, I've heard a lot of people say is actually looking to be a frontrunner, if it's not Drive My Car. And even then, that one I don't think is entered, is it? Oh, no, it was. It was selected. Okay. So it's probably down to those two. A Hero, if it can get the director nomination, that puts it back in the hunt. Flea is potentially looking at that double nomination at the Oscars, which we've seen that happen a lot more with documentary and international film, more so than animated feature and international film, but could still happen. And then The Hand of God, which is also going to be in contention there at the Oscars. So, and I believe Flea was also selected. So yeah, all 5 of these are in contention at the Oscars, and that's the first time in a while that happened. Parallel Mothers got in, I remember this morning at the Globes, and that one I know is not going to be in there for the international feature category. Spain picked a different one for some reason. But yeah, otherwise I might look at the list again there at the Globes this morning. I'll see if any other are not in contention. But yeah. Okay, so then that just leaves visual effects. Just 5 nominees here as well. They are Dune, The Matrix Resurrections, Nightmare Alley, No Time to Die, and Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So, yeah, no Eternals there. So if Marvel's going to get one in, it looks like it's Shang-Chi at this point. Yeah, unless Spider-Man hits late and they really like it. That could happen. Actually, I think the premiere is probably happening. It might actually be starting here almost as we speak. I'm looking forward to that one, though. That first trailer knocked me out. I was like, I was looking forward to it because I've liked the other 2 Spider-Mans of recently. But God, just seeing that, I'm like, okay, this feels like a big movie again. That's neat, to see that again. So yeah. Anyways, but yeah, clearly Dune feels like it's the runaway favorite right now for this category, and yeah, No Time to Die. I think as long as it makes the short list, I think it still has a shot. Obviously, but at this point, even making the short list might be a little tough for that one. Nightmare Alley might be one that surprises us and does not make the short list. I would actually not be shocked if that happened. And yeah, we've got I think a little over a week before the short list come out. I think it was the 21st. I read. I think it was the 21st. Let's see here. That does not say. That says when the nominations are announced, but that's not what I'm looking for. Determined short. Okay, this looks a little more promising. Let's see what deadline has to say here. Revealed on 21st. There we go. That's what I was waiting for. Okay. So yeah, that's next Tuesday. Which, yeah, that's probably the next time actually we come back and talk about some stuff. But yeah. One quick thing here I'm noticing. Let's see if I can pronounce their names here. Rena D'Angelo and Adam Stockhausen both worked on West Side Story and French Dispatch. They were both nominated in the production design category here. That's interesting. Yeah, usually production design, you don't really see a lot of crossover with that. But, okay. No, actually, no. I was going to say, wait a minute, because of the pandemic, that one of them got delayed, so they clearly worked on them. But I'm like, No, I think these two were actually probably shooting around the same time. West Side Story and French Dispatch. They were both supposed to come out in 2020. Both got delayed to this year, but both shot around the same time. Oh wow, interesting. Okay, I don't know. Some of the other ones who are more enthusiastic about that kind of record stuff, maybe they would know more so than I would. But I don't think that happens very often. Oscars or anywhere else where you have, particularly in that category, you have multiple nominees, on different projects getting 2 nominations. Okay. Okay, let's go down the list here, shall we? Let's look at who looks like they're the early frontrunner here. For picture, I think we're probably looking at Belfast or Power of the Dog to win this. Yeah, probably coming down to those two. Director feels like, again, it's a matchup between Brana and Jane Campion. Both of them, I think there's a lot of strong arguments for, especially at this point. Both those led nominations of the Globe this morning. Belfast had a bunch of nominations here. Power of the Dog, again, showed up just about everywhere it needed to here as well at Critics' Choice. So, man, they both feel like strong contenders. And they've been my number 1 and number 2 here at the Oscar list for a while, probably since I switched to Belfast there. So, yeah, that's been going on. Boy, I don't remember the date on it. Has it been close to 2 months now? A month and a half? Something like that? Yeah, I've had Belfast for a little bit longer here. But, yeah, Power of the Dog has been a consistent number 2 in the vote there for me for a long time. So, yeah, at this point I'm going to say advantage Brana. But I can, both of them are definitely having a good shot there. Actor, I'm going to stick with Will Smith. Actress, I'm going to say probably Kristen Stewart. As long as Spencer can get at least 1 or 2 other nominations, that only boosts her chance even higher. Supporting actor, yeah, I don't know about the Cody Smith-McPhee thing to win. I mean, I'm still going to say, just because a lot of people are right now, I'm like, okay, he's technically got a shot and everything. But, boy, and especially if you do have 2 actors in for Belfast, that could be trouble because, remember, it's usually they can cross each other out, like Irishman, a couple of the other recent ones here. But then other times, you got The Help, you've got 3 Billboards, both had, 2 nominations in the same category, and one just came right through and won. Even last year with Judas and the Black Messiah. With that one, they had the 2 nominations, and it was Daniel Kaluuya just came right. Yeah, he ran the whole board, and it was kind of a surprise the last minute to get the second nominee in there. Who's come on, he was also in Get Out. Okay, forgive me for forgetting the name there, but yeah, Lakeith Stanfield. Okay, I got there. I was gonna cheat, but no, Lakeith Stanfield. Yeah. So yeah, even more recently, that has not been a problem though. So. Other than, Irishman being the one recent example there. So, oh boy, I don't know. I have Jared Leto still winning the Oscar, but at this point, House of Gucci has kind of been a little all over the place with these early noms. So, I'm not sure who to lean on here. So, Kieran Hines, sure, why not? Supporting actress, at this point, I'm going to say Ajan Ellis. She feels like a pretty viable contender, having not seen the film quite yet. Seems like she's one that everybody is starting to get behind. The screenplay categories, original screenplay, I'll stick with Licorice Pizza. Adapted, probably comes down to Power of the Dog or Coda. Possibly Lost Daughter, but Power of the Dog. For the ensemble category here... Boy, there's a lot of viable options. West Side Story could do it. If Power of the Dog doesn't win an acting category there, I can see them going with that. Or Belfast could win. Yeah, those are 3. Let's see. Then the text, real quick. Cinematography, probably Dune. Editing. Boy, I am not sure. Dune has quite a bit of editing. Belfast, if that's your Best Picture winner, editing might line up. Licorice Pizza is getting some good notices. Boy, I'll Dune for now, but that one's up in the air. Costume design, I'm not going to say Dune this time. It's leaning between House of Gucci. Yeah. I'll just leave it House of Gucci there. Production design, I'm going to stick with Nightmare Alley for now. Score, I don't think Dune. The double nom for Johnny Greenwood might hurt a little bit, but neither of the other two are sticking out at me. I'll go Power of the Dog then. I will go Greenwood. Original song, everybody's liking Be Alive pretty well from King Richard, so I'll go with that one. Makeup and hairstyling, probably House of Gucci since it has a lot of, latex and everything else. For the animated one, I'll go Encanto. I think Encanto will stick around. Foreign language film could really be any of them at this point. Drive My Car got a little bit of momentum off of the New York Film Critics Circle win for film. But everybody likes The Worst Person in the World, so I'm going to say that one. And then visual effects, Dune. Okay. All right, real quick, let's do the Globes there. I think we decided, was it 78th or 79th? 79th, okay. Okay, real quick, for the drama category, I'm going to go Belfast early. Musical or comedy, I think they go traditional. I think they go West Side Story here. But it's going to be really close. Licorice Pizza could easily just really get that. For the director race, again, it's probably down to Brana and Jane Campion. So I'll go Jane Campion on this one, just to make it fun. In the acting categories, lead actor drama, probably still Will Smith. Lead actress drama, probably still Kristen Stewart. Lead actor comedy musical, I think Andrew Garfield. I think Andrew Garfield on that one. Actress comedy musical, boy, I don't know, that one. I don't think Jennifer, they've awarded a lot of Jennifer Lawrence performances here in the past. I don't quite think they'll give her win number 4 here. Marion Cotillard has also been noticed quite a bit here over the years. I don't really look at her. Elena Heim, they kind of sometimes like to award, the newcomer, or, the kind of rising star or whatever, if you will. I know BAFTA has their own award. It's named strictly that, but still. Some people, because over the last couple of years, some people picked, in this category in particular, they've been looking at a few, like Maria Bakalova last year felt like that was going to be the case. Ana de Armas, some people were taking for Knives Out. Elsie Fisher, some people thought stood a chance maybe for 8th Grade. Yeah, that's just more recent. But so I would say she still has a shot. And then Emma Stone, I think, is one already. Yeah, so it's probably down to one of those two, Elena Heim or Rachel Zegler. Yeah, I don't see him busting for Emma Stone, really. Okay, in the supporting categories, supporting actor, Kieran Hines, I guess for now. But the Troy Kotsur, some people are convinced that one could start taking off. So that'd be interesting, too, because I looked at, he is a deaf actor. That would be interesting to have Marley Matlin in this one. And I would believe he would be the second deaf actor to win. And it's in a film that she's in. So almost like she's shepherding in the next one. That I can see that kind of being that's a good narrative, actually. Without having seen the film. I'm sure the performance is fine, because he's been noticed a few other places and stuff. So, yeah. Boy, I would put him maybe second place at some of these. Okay. And then supporting actress here at the Globes, also Ajan Ellis, since King Richard has the picture nomination. Belfast also does. I mean, all these 5 except for Passing, Ruth Negga, the rest of them are all in a picture nominee. So, yeah. Let's see here. For the screenplay category, PTA, since they've been kind of reluctant, I would actually not be surprised. I don't think they'll go Aaron Sorkin again. This would be his 3rd win in like the last 6 years. I don't quite think so. I don't think they'll go, and that's weird because Adam McKay is the sole nominee here for Don't Look Up, but I believe he had a co-writer on the film. If I'm not misremembering this, David Sirota, who's a journalist. Okay, I was gonna say, like, has he written some other films? but I guess he kind of helped out on some miniseries. Were these the the 80s, the decade that made us, and the 90s greatest? Were these the CNN ones? I don't think so. Possibly. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, but yeah, because I saw he had a co-writer there for the nomination at Critics' Choice, but it's not listed as the one here on the Globes. Interesting. Let's see, the other categories. Score. Probably just, yeah, Johnny Greenwood. Song, I'll also go Beyonce there with Be Alive from King Richard. Animated film, and maybe they go Luca. I'm going to say Luca on that one, just to mix it up. Then foreign language film. This one, I would say, just off the momentum and stuff, it's coming down to Hand of God or Drive My Car. Probably Drive My Car. Even though Parallel Mothers does have the other nomination there in score. Alberto Iglesias, yeah, he's gotten a few nominations through the years here, so yeah. Okay, so that'll do it for stuff that happened today. Now, let's take a look at, okay, based off of how things have gone here at both Critics' Choice and the Globes, what have I switched? Have I switched anything? How am I feeling? Okay, so first of all, I switched a few things around here in the order for Best Picture. I still have Belfast number 1 and Power of the Dog number 2. King Richard, I think last time we looked at this, I still had that one at number 3. I have Licorice Pizza bumped up to 4th. West Side Story I have now in 5th. Dune in 6th. Nightmare Alley is clear down in 7th place now. I think that one fell a few spots. Based off its performance today and the fact that it could have coattails getting even more nominations later, I'm putting Coda back in, so that's number 8 now. 9, I have Spencer. And at number 10, I'm putting Tick Tick Boom in as that 10th one. It's arguably whether it's going to be that one, being the Ricardos, Don't Look Up, or Tragedy of Macbeth, or Spencer falls out and one of the other ones gets in addition to Tick Tick Boom. Or just two of the ones that I named get in and neither of those two make it. But yeah, and then potentially we could be looking at The Lost Daughter also being one, especially if it does come through for Maggie Gyllenhaal. I don't know. I don't know if that feels like one that just gets director, actress, maybe screenplay, and then misses picture. That's weird. That would be, well, Foxcatcher did the same thing here a few years ago, didn't it? That had I believe makeup as well, but still, getting a lot of those top tier categories and missing for picture is weird. I don't know. It'll be strange because Tick Tick Boom is Netflix, and Power of the Dog is Netflix. Don't Look Up is Netflix. So it's like, yeah, they have quite a few contenders here. So, anyways, let's see on the director lineup here. I'm officially no longer saying Guillermo del Toro for his second win here. Right now, I'm going Kenneth Branagh, but I've got Jane Campion again in second place. And I think I'm just going to have to wait and see who they start awarding early before I switch off of these two. Denis Villeneuve, I have now bumped up to third place, so Guillermo's now in fourth. I'm still holding on to Asghar Farhadi with just the thing with, I just don't, well, number one, I don't know who gets that fifth slot if not him. Between PTA, Spielberg, and a couple of the other ones here. Ronaldo Marcus Green not getting in at Critics' Choice for director definitely hurts. It's not done yet, but it's really starting to feel like that one's going to have to really overperform Oscar morning. It'll have to be like one of those. Sion Heder is actually one I'm looking at as well here as a very serious contender again. Just because I'm like, again, Coda, if that one has those really strong coattails and gets Marlee Matlin in, I can see her going along for the ride, and the director's branch gets her in. Plus, remember, kind of like possibly, I've heard of some rumblings this morning that they only put Gyllenhaal in just to get two female directors in again, which I don't think it's only that. They must have liked it enough. They put it in for actress as well. I don't know, if Gyllenhaal falls out, you could have Jane Campion and Sion Heder be your two female nominees this year, if you want to look at it just from the pure, gender thing of it. But again, I'm still saying though, it would be more so I think just because Coda could have those good coattails and get some more directors in there, or more nominations. I mean, and director being one of them. Let's see, McKay. Even for Vice, he was starting to show up on the director list and stuff. So the fact that he missed director on both of those, not a good sign for him. Joel Coen, Tragedy of Macbeth, really did not have a good day. That one and Nightmare Alley, I think, are the two that were like, okay, early on they felt like they had everything on paper. Tragedy of Macbeth, I know, has been falling as of recent, but that one almost for sure is starting to feel between the two like it does not really have the stuff to stick around. Definitely not for Best Picture win at this point. It feels very, very, very long shot. But even getting the nomination might be a little tougher for that one now. Versus Nightmare Alley, I think it's going to have enough fans, I think, through the Academy and through the tech categories and stuff. That feels like one that'll still get in, regardless of, even if Guillermo somehow misses director, which could still happen viably, but yeah, I don't know. I just think that one will still get picture regardless. Okay, I still have the 5 that I had originally for Best Actor the last time we talked about it. So that's still Will Smith, Denzel, Benedict Cumberbatch, Peter Dinklage, and Mahershala Ali. But Andrew Garfield, yeah, he's really close. Like, he's definitely in 6th place for me here. And yeah, really after that, except for maybe Javier Bardem and maybe still Joaquin Phoenix. And even then, Joaquin, he feels like he needs to get that... he needs to get that SAG nomination. If he does not get in at SAG, I think he's done. And even then, I don't really know I'm not really super confident in him getting in there. Let's see. Oh, I missed. Best Actress. Yeah. So with this one, I dropped Frances McDormand now since she's been really struggling lately. So I have Kristen Stewart in there at 1st, Olivia Colman in 2nd, Penelope Cruz in 3rd, Jessica Chastain in 4th, and now I have Nicole Kidman back in. So, so Penelope, yeah, has also been struggling here, but yeah, we'll see if she can come back on. Otherwise, that 5th slot is going to be tough, because like we said, we got Lady Gaga, who's shown up both places, Rachel Zegler, who did not get the actress nomination at the Critics' Choice, but did get that younger actor nomination, whatever. I don't know if they, were meaning to do it that way, just so they, don't double up or whatever, but that could be a possibility there. Lena Heim, I think, is still viable here, like we mentioned. Yeah, we kind of went over it there, so still some suspense there in Best Actress. Supporting actor, this one, yeah, I did a few changes here. Okay, so Jared Leto, number 1. Ciarán Hinds, I now have in 2nd place. Troy Kutzer, I have in there now for Coda. In 4th place, I now have put Cody Smith-McPhee back in. And in 5th place, I now have Jamie Dornan in. So I dropped Cooper and I dropped Jenkins. And yeah, Plemons, I think I dropped off as well here. I think those are the 3 I had last time that I no longer have. And that's really just because, yeah, I even though Leto missed the Globe here, I can still see him getting in. The other 4 got in both places. And yeah, it's still with Coda doing well. Yeah, I feel like that's one that'll stick around. Supporting actress, the 5 I have are Ajan Ellis. I now have her in 1st place. Marlee Matlin I've dropped down to 4th, so she's still in there. And that's off the coattails thing with that. So I did drop Ann Dowd. I might have misspoke earlier when I said she's still in. Sorry. Kirsten Dunst I have in 2nd place now, with Catriona Balfe in 3rd. We mentioned Marlee Matlin 4th. And Ariana DeBose I'm putting back in. West Side Story is kind of getting back up in the more traction and stuff, so... Yeah, and I do think the coattails thing with Coda, yeah, that's definitely one where Marlee Matlin, they're watching it, and they're seeing him, but they're also seeing her, and it's like, oh, well, she was, yeah, we remember her, so it's kind of one of those deals, kind of like I think she got in other places, like Marcia Gay Harden, remember for Mystic River. I think some people thought she wouldn't get in for that and stuff, so yeah, sometimes those winners, past winners, in supporting roles and stuff, sometimes they can go along for the ride like that, so. Let's see, otherwise, yeah, Ruth Negga and Rita Moreno also had nominations this morning. One from Globes, one from Critics' Choice. And after that, it kind of starts to thin out pretty well, so, yeah. Okay. Otherwise, in original screenplay, even though I just said the thing was to Aaron Sorkin, right now I just don't know what else to put in. So I have Licorice Pizza in 1st, Belfast 2nd, King Richard in 3rd. I have Being the Ricardos in there for 4th right now, potentially to drop. At 5th place, I still have French Dispatch, even though that's been missing from screenplay, but I'm not really sure Don't Look Up is going to get in at the end of the day, and I'm not really sure about some of the other ones, so yeah. Adapted screenplay, the 5 I have are, I believe, the same, just switching the order around. 1st place, I have Power of the Dog. 2nd place, I have Coda. 3rd place, The Lost Daughter, which I think I had in for a while, and I dropped it. Now I have it back in. think it was, what was the one I dropped? Was it Nightmare Alley? No, I have that one in still. No, I didn't have... Oh, The Humans. I had The Humans in there for a while. That was another one I dropped from Best Picture as well. Yeah, so Tragedy of Macbeth I still have on there in 4th, and even then that's looking a little less likely. Nightmare Alley in 5th, again, even though it's missing everything for screenplay right now. So, yeah, I'm just not sure about pulling the trigger yet and getting West Side Story back in there. I haven't put Dune in there yet at all this year. And Tick, Tick, Boom is also one I'm like, okay, maybe. But I think, yeah, if it had gotten in for screenplay today, then I would have been like, okay, well, maybe screenplay, actor, picture. Maybe that would make sense, but yeah. Okay, otherwise, tech categories, I'm not switching anything else around too much here. These are all the same as what I had last time. Oh, shoot, I hit the wrong button. Okay, now I gotta find that one again. I think I was on film editing here. Just kind of going through them one by one. Film editing is the only one I think I've changed here. I put West Side Story in, and I bumped Nightmare Alley out for right now. Otherwise, I still have Dune, Belfast, Power of the Dog, and King Richard in that category. But yeah, again, we kind of went through all the nominees there. There's plenty that can get in there. Yeah, production design, I'm still sticking with that one with Tragedy of Macbeth, but that one feels like the one to go, if not that one. Yeah, no sound category yet from any of these early shows, but just how things are going, I'm like, okay, No Time to Die is sticking around with at least the song nomination, and did get visual effects from Critics' Choice as well. So that feels like that one's sticking around a little bit, so I can see it still getting in there for sound. Dune and West Side Story feel pretty good. Nightmare Alley, possible still. Belfast I have in there, and that feels okay right now. So yeah, I think Tick, Tick, Boom would be probably the next one to get in. Probably. So if I put them in maybe over Nightmare Alley. Possibly. Okay, I'll look into that one. Then visual effects, I think I'm going to stick with these 5, which are Dune, Eternals, Matrix, Shang-Chi, and Nightmare Alley, until the shortlist comes out. Then, obviously, we'll see if any of these miss, okay, what happens there and stuff. And, I skipped to animated. Yeah, no changes there. I'm not falling for that goddamn trap with the 3 Disney or Pixar films. No, I'm not doing it. And you can laugh at me later if I'm wrong, but I just do not think it's going to happen. No confidence whatsoever that is, a done deal. Like that is going. I'm saying no right now. Okay, all right. I guess real quick. Yeah, sorry, we didn't. The last thing I did not do is go over who has the most nominations, and this is again by my counter, which isn't not necessarily that's the one everybody goes off of. Okay, so Belfast has picture, director, 2 supporting actors, supporting actress, screenplay. Also has cinematography, editing. Also has production design. And I believe that's it. Right? I saw it had 11, so what's the one? I think I'm missing in something. Director, picture, 2 supporting actors, supporting actress. Oh, ensemble. Yeah, the ensemble category. There we go. So I will count. I do count ensemble because we do have SAG ensemble later on. So that's 10. 10 nominations for that one. West Side Story, I believe, actually has not in the same places, obviously, but I believe that one I also, and my count has 10 as well. So that's picture, director, 2 supporting actresses, ensemble, screenplay, cinematography, editing, costume design, and production design. Yes, that's it. Okay. All right, the rest of them are kind of tough after that. Just alphabetical here. Coda, that has picture, supporting actor, adapted screenplay, and I think that's it. Yeah, 3. Yeah, 3 nominations is still good. Don't Look Up has picture, it has ensemble, it has original screenplay, has score, and song, and I believe that's it. So 5 nominations for that one. King Richard has picture, actor, supporting actress. Also has original screenplay. And I believe song. So that one I believe also has 5. And again, I'm not counting. It has a younger actress in there too, but I'm like, no, not counting those, sorry. Okay, Licorice Pizza, picture, director, actress, original screenplay. Ensemble is 5, and I believe editing gets it up to 6. No, I must have one more. What am I missing? Mm. Oh, it has the comedy film and younger actor. Okay, so six. Six is correct for that one. Nightmare Alley, okay, a little bit better here. It has picture, has director, and then it has let's see, go down a little ways here before we get to the next one. Cinematography. Then it also has costume design, it has production design, and it has score, and it has hair and makeup, and it has visual effects. So I have that one at 8. Yep, okay. And then we also had Power of the Dog, which has picture, director, actor, supporting actress. It has ensemble, it has adapted screenplay, cinematography, editing, and at least one more. Score. Okay, there's 10. So yeah, that's 3 films with 10 nominations, which is, yeah, that's pretty good. Tick Tick Boom, I believe, just has picture, actor. And I believe that's it, yeah. Which, again, that's the way it's looking at the Oscars right now, potentially, with Garfield there, if he gets in. And, yeah, we did West Side Story already, so yeah. Otherwise, any other films with multiple that we did not count here yet? Did Cyrano just get the 1? Yeah, just Cyrano got the 1 for Peter Dinklage. Pig, we know, just got the 1. Tragedy of Macbeth has 3. Because it has actor... Oh, no, just actor and cinematography. Okay, just 2. Eyes of Tammy Faye, I believe, just had the 2 between actress and makeup. Lost Daughter had 2 with actress and screenplay. House of Gucci had at least 4. Because it has actress, supporting actor, also has makeup, and I believe it also had costume design. So that one should be 4, yes. Okay. Keep going here. Being the Ricardos has a few, I think. Has actress, supporting actor, original screenplay, and that's it. Okay, just the 3. Okay, then Spencer had actress, and then it had score. It might just have those 2. Because it's not in for costume. It's not in for production design. Yep, just the 2. All right. Okay, then I think we went through everybody in supporting actor. We went through everybody in supporting actress, I believe. And then ensemble, I think we looked at everything except The Harder They Fall, which just had the 2 with song and ensemble. Screenplay, I think we went through everybody there. Adapted, I believe we went through everybody except... did we get to Dune? I don't know, we might have skipped over Dune. Let's count those just to make sure. Picture, director, adapted screenplay, cinematography, editing, costume design, production design, score, hair and makeup, visual effects. That one also has 10. Okay, I don't think we did that one yet. So yeah, 4 films with 10 nominations. So kind of looking like the Oscars in 2019. Joker had 11, and then 3 of them had 10. So it's like, yeah, some of these are kind of top heavy like that. Yeah. Okay, now I think we got all those, and then just in the text, I don't know if we had way too many that just had multiple down there, except Cruella, which has costume design and makeup, I believe. Encanto, which had 2. Which would be song and animated feature. Flea had 2 with international film or foreign language films that's depicted here, and also for animated. French Dispatch had production design, and what was the second one? Oh, it's a comedy film, which, yeah, we're not counting that. Let's see, anything else? No Time to Die got visual effects and song. Yeah. Okay. So that should be all the multiples for that one too. I always like to go through those just to show, which one has strengths, weaknesses, all that stuff. All right. Okay, that's enough for me for today. So yeah, like I said, we're probably coming back here when we get to the next group of nominees and stuff, and that's the next opportunity. There's probably going to be that short list for the some of the categories there at the Oscars, like score, song, some of the feature categories. Let's see, I'm going to look up when BAFTA has their short list come out, because that's got to be pretty soon. Should be end of December, I think. Little changes. Has been a long day. I'm yawning now. I don't usually do that on camera. Yeah, I was on radio for the longest time. For whatever reason, I don't know if it was adrenaline or what. I never yawned on air. I don't know. I think it must be an adrenaline thing or something. Okay, that's for that, but it doesn't say when the shortlists come out. They take place on the 13th of March, and nominations are announced on February the 3rd. So definitely the shortlist is out before February the 3rd. Oh, general information. It's asking me if I'm a partner or something. I'm like, what? Any queries should be... Oh, God. Come on. Just give me the goddamn date. Good Lord. I just want to know when your shortlist is out. Doesn't say. See, that's them joining... Okay, Michelle Dockery, Sadie Frost, Andy Serkis to join the Rising Star Award jury panel. Okay, but that has nothing to do with the shortlist. They always announce that one before they get to other stuff, but... Outlines rule eligibility. Didn't we just look this up? Oh no, this is a different one. No, this is from September. This ain't gonna be it. All right. Well, I don't know. I'm not finding it here. No. Let's see. Yeah, they're not gonna have that one quite yet. The 75th. This will be the 75th BAFTAs. Let me try this one. Announced in February. Yeah, that's all they're saying for now. God, yeah, that doesn't say anything. All right. So I am not really sure right now when that shortlist is coming out for BAFTA, but it must be coming up sooner rather than later. Probably looking at, if the nominations aren't until February the 3rd, we're looking at sometime in early January, maybe very late December. Maybe. More leaning toward January. Anyways, so, okay. All right, yeah, now I'm done. Okay, I can't think of anything else, so that's usually when I shut the video off, and we will catch everybody later.